I know, you thought we were done mocking bootlicker Gene Simmons, but guess what? The internet is not done with Gene Simmons. That is what the tongue was for, right, Gene? Licking boots? Hey guys, study after study shows that if you want strong bones and muscles, healthy hair, skin, teeth, and nails, you need the 5 types of collagen in your diet. I get mine from BioTrust. I've got a link in the description with a massive discount, and it'll tell you all about it. All right, I couldn't let this day go by. I saw that Gene Simmons was trending pretty high on Twitter, still is, and he deserves the criticism that he's getting. This is a quote from Gene Simmons of the past. I think celebrities should basically shut their pie holes and do what they do best: act, sing, tap dance, juggle balls, and do all that kind of stuff. But we know what Gene Simmons said the other day on this broadcast. Listen closely. And I know I've covered this, but more people are getting wind of what Gene Simmons said. And Gene Simmons is the front man for the band Kiss. Kiss is a rock and roll band, and the hypocritical irony here is that rock and roll is supposed to symbolize rebellion against the government, rebellion against authority. Do your own thing. Do what you feel. Do what thou wilt. That's supposed to be rock and roll, but Gene Simmons is telling us to shut up and comply with government.
So get over yourself. We're not concerned if you agree with it or not. We're concerned about you making us sick. So get your goddamn COVID shot
a good point.
and prevent other people from getting your stuff.
It's a good point, and we're having a debate this morning about that.
And the context here is obey. Just comply. Shut up and comply. If the government tells you to do something, you need to just shut up and do it. Obey. Not rebel. That's what he used to teach us for ever since the 1970s, whenever Kiss came online, whenever they started producing records and doing concerts. Their, rock and roll genre was rebel, resist, do your own thing. Don't listen to government. Now he's telling you got to listen to government. You got to comply. You got to do what they say. You got to shut up.
Very thing, really. A debate about whether mask wearing should be returned to be mandatory here in the UK. Restrictions have been lifted.
And he said it should. So the context of what Gene Simmons is saying here is mandatory versus voluntary. Comply because the government told you to, or else you will be punished. And in his mind, you'll be rightly punished by the government if you don't do what they tell you to do.
And I understand you even suggest people who come to your concerts wear them for their own protection.
We are doing the Kiss cruise shortly.
It's for your safety. It's for your protection. And the public safety is all the alibi of tyrants. That's what tyrants do. They say, hey, we're going to enact these laws. Yeah, it's going to take away your freedoms. They don't say that part. Yeah, we're going to reach our hands deeper into your pockets and take more of your wealth. They don't say that part either. But we're doing this for your good. It's for the public safety. It's for the common good. And that's what Gene Simmons is saying. And Benjamin Franklin addressed that. If you would give away a little essential liberty for politically promised security, he didn't say that part, but that's what it is. It's politically promised security, which usually never comes because politicians lie to you. Government forces lie to you. Government forces want to disarm you and make you weaker so that they can move in and control you. If you give that essential liberty up for politically promised security, you deserve neither liberty nor security. But Gene Simmons has great contempt for your rights. And the irony is, the double blade of irony is he has contempt for his own rights.
You will not be able to get on the cruise unless you're vaccinated. Look, before you go to school, you have to have your children get the flu vaccine and the polio vaccine. And there's no discussion. And,
what's he pushing there? He's just pushing, hey, when you go to a government, the 15,000 hour indoctrination program, government fool indoctrination internment camp, you got to get this battery of big pharma products. So it's just like that. And it's like, yeah, that's for parents who choose to put their kids in the government indoctrination camps. What about all the people who just want to be left alone, who just want to be free? Well, that doesn't fly with Gene Simmons. He wants you to be forced against your will into doing something that you don't want to do.
What about my rights? Well, you don't have as many rights as you think. When you get up to a red light, you must stop. There's no choice.
Move to North Korea, move to Mexico, move to China. You don't have as many rights as you think. Actually, you have unalienable rights. You have rights that nobody's given to you and nobody can legitimately take from you. So what Gene Simmons is saying is, hey, you don't have the rights you think you have because there's somebody else who has a higher claim over your life and your rights and your property than you. And those are the people you need to bow down to. Those are the people you don't need to question. Those are the people who say, when they say jump, you just shut up and do it.
Because it's not about you. It's about the other innocent people going by. So get over yourself. Even you get in your car, you must put on a seatbelt. Well, you're taking away my rights and the government's telling me what to do. That's right. The government is telling you what to do. Shut up, be respectful of other people, and get a vaccine. Put on your seatbelt, stop at the red light, stop being selfish.
And remember, the context here is when this lady said, well, maybe we should consider mandatory masks. And he said, sure you should. Sure you should. The context is that which is mandatory versus that which is voluntary. That which is compulsory, juxtaposed against the people who just want to be free and just want to be left alone and don't want to be messed with and don't want to be forced to do something they don't want to do. Gene Simmons is on this side. He's on the compulsory, mandatory, comply or die side. That's the context of what we're talking about. So, people are rightly outraged at this supposed rock and roller who's supposed to be all about resisting the man and standing up against authority. This person right here says, good morning to everyone except Gene Simmons, who wants you to blindly follow what the government tells you to do and get jabbed. Meanwhile, his grandmother, in this place right here, and his mother held prisoner, but you should shut up and do it because the government tells you to. If that's true about what happened to his grandmother and his mother, you would think that he would be singing a different tune. You would think that he would get out there and say, hey, it's truly dangerous to submit what the government tells you to do, to submit, to bow down, to grovel at the feet of, to disarm yourself. It's very dangerous. Probably something you want to consider not doing is what Gene Simmons should be saying, but no, that's not what he says. This guy says, Gene Simmons has always come off as a pretty intelligent guy. I guess it was an act. How can anyone with a brain think my not getting what will somehow adversely affect those who do get it? Interesting point. Gene Simmons slept with 5,000 women. Gene Simmons slept with 5,000 women. The only virus he should be lecturing the public about is genital herpes. Do you remember when he got, I think he said 10,000, if I'm not mistaken. Remember in the 1980s, or I think it was the mid 1980s or early 1980s where he and I think it was Paul Stanley appeared with Joan Collins, if I remember right, on the Oprah Winfrey show. And he was bragging about how many women he had slept with. Hilarious comment right there. Here's another big farm guy pusher, Alice Cooper, who once said, when musicians are telling people who to vote for, I think that's an abuse of power. You're telling your fans not to think for themselves, just to think like you. Rock and roll is about freedom, and that's not freedom. And then this guy says, or this lady says, Gene Simmons, take some great advice from Alice. Although we know what Alice did. We know what Alice Cooper did. We know what Alice Cooper promoted. He promoted you not thinking for yourself. He promoted you thinking like he does. And he played to that fear of the public. I like what this guy says. This is Joe Pags. I don't really know who this guy is. Syndicated talk show host. Yeah, I'm not familiar with him. Listen to what he says about Gene Simmons' comment that we just saw.
What the heck is Gene Simmons talking about here?
So get over yourself. We're not concerned if you agree with it or not. We're concerned about you making us sick. So get your goddamn COVID shot and prevent other people from getting your stuff.
Maybe it's me, but if the COVID shot works, why would my not getting it somehow harm you if you got it?
What do you guys think? What do you guys think? 5 times August says, that's right. The government is telling you what to do. Shut up and do it. Gene Simmons. That's from 5 times August. If you haven't listened to 5 times August music, really really good stuff, enlightening stuff, and good music. It's very entertaining. Now, the last thing I wanted to end with was this comedian right here. I only have 1 minute and 18 seconds of this. I'd really like to hear the rest of it. But the hypocrisy that he points out is poignant. It's through the roof. This guy's funny and logical and calls out the hypocrisy of mainstream, just the mainstream airwaves who ban one thing and accept something that is far worse than the thing that they originally banned.
The one that really killed me was last Christmas. We canceled a song that was written in the 1940s called Baby It's Cold Outside. People said that they were triggered, that the lyrics were rapey, and they had toxic masculinity. And that's fine if you feel that way, but radio stations
The lyrics of Baby It's Cold Outside from the 1940s was rapey.
across the country wouldn't play the song because people were outraged, which is fine if you feel that way. But at the exact same time, the #1 song in this nation for over 2 months was Wet Ass Pussy. I am not making that up. You can look it up. Google it.
That is a song from Cardi B. Hilarious.
So I want to wrap up my show by comparing and contrasting the lyrics of these two songs. If indeed this country has lost its fucking mind, shall we? Let's start with the hardly offensive Christmas song written just after World War II. I really can't stay, baby, it's cold outside. I gotta go away, baby, it's cold outside. This evening has been so very nice. Yeah, you fucking with some wet ass pussy. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass pussy. Beat it up, N-word, extra large, extra hard. Put this pussy right in your face, swipe your nose like a credit card. My mother will start to worry. One that really...
This is hilarious, guys. I love it when you can use comedy and logic and put them together, make something entertainment, but still come across with a point that slams the mainstream narrative right between the eyes, exposes the hypocrisy and the insanity. And yes, this is truly crazy times when you have a lead singer or one of the lead voices for the rock and roll band Kiss telling you that if the government tells you to do something, shut up and do it. So leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought, please, in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know, and don't forget to subscribe to my private email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. I'll see you in the next video.
While we have time and it still retains some of its perceived value, maybe it'd be a good idea to convert your worthless fiat into valuable, storable food. Don't be the one who waits till the food riots start happening. You don't want to be fighting panicking people in the store over that last jar of peanut butter. At Prepare with High Impact Flicks, you can get up to 3 air and watertight gasket sealed ammo cans, each filled with a 4-week emergency supply. 7 food varieties, 2,000 calories a day, 284 servings, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and each meal comes in a resealable, heavy-duty 4-layered pouch. And it's got a 25-year shelf life. Every order of a 4-week supply gets you $100 off plus free shipping. Here's how simple it is to make. I'm going to cook up some Granny's home-style potato soup. People are going to think I'm a culinary hero. You open the pouch, boil 4.5 cups of water, stir the contents, simmer on low heat for 15 to 20 minutes, take it off the heat, then let it set for 2 to 3 minutes before you serve it up.
Man, this stuff's so good. People are going to think Granny stopped by and filled your kitchen with a whole bunch of love.
Well, if Granny does stop by, she's going to fill your behind with a whole bunch of buckshot if you keep talking with your mouth full. Wipe your dang beard off. It's embarrassing. So maybe convert some of your worthless fiat into valuable food while you still can. Order now and get $100 off of up to 3 4-week emergency food supplies at preparewithhighimpactflix.com. The link is in the description.